It's game time, ladies and gentlemen. I got your watch list for April 2nd. I have a few new plays, a few earning plays, stuff to talk about a little bit slightly on the market. But again, there's a lot of stuff from even last week. The stuff, even this week, man, we missed out. The FedEx we were talking about, those went up another 1,000% today. Bank of America calls went up about 500%. Home Depot, which was, I don't know if we talked about it yesterday, but we brought it up pre-market, which brings me, I always have to say it, guys. Sorry for the brief interruption. I forgot to include that by partaking in this watch list, you agree to post your watch list below in the comment section to help the community and everybody grow and learn and trade and prosper. Thank you. Like the video, show some love, especially if you guys like these type of videos. You want me to keep putting these out, but then also make sure you're on the stream because pre-market, we're adding to this. So we're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It is in the chat. It is in the description, all that, but let's get to it. Right off the bat, earnings, I don't know why play is showing up as the first one. Oh, wait, I was going to actually show you guys an example with the option chain, but there's earnings plays. So play is going to be after hours. So is GameStop. And I know a lot of people have been interested in those. So really, you could always come to the option chain, and this is for anything. If it's reporting this week, you could look at the April 5th contract, look at the in-the-money contract. It's 50 cents in the money, minus 50 cents from that ask, and you could see what the market's pricing in. They're pretty much expecting a $2 move on for Dave & Buster's. But Dave & Buster's is a good one to watch. That's going to be interesting. Tomorrow, pre-market, we're going to get Walgreens, and a lot of people were talking about that. So those are your earnings plays. Even coming into the next week, I believe on the 7th, you're going to start seeing more transports, well, pretty much the airlines. So keep an eye out for that, and that was the leader. And it is going to remind me, keep watching FedEx, UPS. The plays might have to develop towards the end of the week. We'll see, but those have been killer and awesome to watch. But there's that. But then another killer play today, which we missed out again, and these were another 500, 600%, or we saw these in the morning, Roku. So I think you guys should keep that one up there as well, too. Watch if it does make a big move down. I know a lot of people are waiting for puts, but again, Roku is one. If the market gets some gas and it does continue, watch that. Also, watch the inverse with Roku in the SPY. So there's that one, and then that brings me to my next one. Roku always reminds me of Square for some reason, but they moved the same. However, while I'm looking at Square, financials did good. It seemed as if Square's lagging a little bit, even though it did move about 2% today. It's not too bad. The options weren't priced too crazy. They were actually cheaper. It's just a matter of Square actually moving. So if Square ends up picking up and following some of these financials, I think that's going to be a good play. I'm going to keep my eye out on that. And then my favorite, I've been saying this on stream, Amazon. So Amazon moved today about another $33, surprisingly, but on Friday and Thursday, it was kind of losing the velocity, but this is great here because it moved a lot, but it seems like the velocity could slow down. And if that does, the option chain is not pricing in too much for calls. And I even noticed that, and I'm going to bring it up with the next play, McDonald's. But, going back to Amazon, it is one that the option chain on the calls, at least for next week and this week, they're starting to get a little cheaper as it's, people are saying, is it going to continue its move? And that was the issue with McDonald's because a lot of these stocks have made some pretty big run-ups. So keep your eye out on Amazon. I'm definitely going to be watching that throughout the day. So if you guys are on stream, I think you should start peeking towards that. Don't forget it. But now let's go to the plays I made, and I actually picked these up before market close and this morning. But one of them I like is Lulu. The options are really, they gassed this morning. The implied volatility shot up. They were very, very expensive, and it just plummeted, and the IV got killed. So it is off of, day 3 or day 4 after the earnings. They jumped up. They came down a little. So I think calls are going to be good. Even the calls all the way up till May have lost some implied volatility. I'm liking how it looks. You could get some pretty cheap ones. Be careful on how much it is. But I want to watch Lulu, because if it does break and start to give up, that'll be one thing. But if it does start to bounce and go up, I really like that. The next one we got here, NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been a favorite. We're going to see if it continues this trend tomorrow of the gap up and then come back down. But if it does gap up even then, it has been strong. The options opened up pretty expensive today. They came down a little cheaper. But even NVIDIA in general, if it does break out here, it has this gap to fill. And the earnings is just right around the corner. And, I think with some of the crypto stuff and just in general, the positive sentiment towards some of these chip makers, they all guided low last quarter. That's why you could see NVIDIA drop. But it seems like they're all coming around surprising with better, I guess we could call it a sandbag, but they're doing very good. So I'm going to watch for NVIDIA and even try to set up an earnings play, but I do want it to come down a little. However, trading it, this is probably one of my favorite along with Qualcomm as well too. Those contracts held up, but lastly, you guys know what it is, man. McDonald's. So it had a big dollar move down. And as you guys see, these are the big moves that, that week before where we hit those 1,000%, it was literally precipitated by some of these big moves. So this jacks up the contract pricing. It makes for some good plays. However, the issue with McDonald's, it's been moving weird. And I don't know if today, if it got hit by, Apple got hit. And I think that's something to watch too, the China pricing. We should see if more news develops on that. Apparently, they're cutting the prices of the iPhone in China, but I think that affected stocks like McDonald's and Starbucks a little more because that is where some of their growth factors were. And I said that was the word for the day on the stream, growth. So, but McDonald's is interesting. It's a value stock. Seeing how it's interacted with the S&P, I want to see it go up when the S&P goes down, but also I want to see it go up when the S&P goes up. So it kind of has been operating too much of an inverse, but you want to see whenever it does catch a bid and start to go up. That's one thing. A lot of people were talking it's near highs, which is very, very true. I for a short-term play and a break above a high, I don't think it's too out of the question, especially coming into earnings. However, too, the option chain has some good opportunities on the put side, but McDonald's, just like we've documented it so many times, it's a slow mover. So just like even, I don't know if you guys have played Walmart, that's one to watch too, but even the contracts are pretty jacked up there. But I like that one a lot. And lastly, I said Apple. I think, keep an eye on that one. Just in general, earnings is actually, I think, 20 or 30 days away, and that pricing thing, I want to see how that plays out. And then, like I said prior, Qualcomm was moving too. So those are the watch list. I also, I guess, I put it on there yesterday. I'll say it again. Watch UVXY. It did trade a little weird today. And, UVXY is the ETF of the VIX, but I like it. I think it's interesting. And even also TLT, I didn't check GLD, but TLT's dropped to those prices now where you could have got it on the first move up when the yield started to drop. So I think that's going to be interesting, and if that plays out good. But again, you got to be careful with those. And some people brought up stuff with oil. It's the same logic that applies. If the ETFs, you have to make sure you're getting those contracts as cheap as possible. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Oh, I totally forgot to say it. I need you to post your watch list. So if you did make it this far, that is the requirement. I think I'm going to cut this in at the beginning of the video. So in general, I love you guys. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you on stream in the morning. Let's go!